And the national amputee football team sit-in really is the latest in a long list of instances where the government has let down the country's sportsmen and women. Now, in the past, these sports people have missed international competitions over lack of or mismanagement of their funds. Now, the situation is so dire that the country lost an opportunity to host a continental football competition due to delays in refurbishing sports stadiums. Vincent Oduor looks at this case of the same script, but a different cast.
They will train in hard conditions, fundraise to meet their travel costs, compete in challenging situations, and against all odds, Kenyan sportsmen and women win. And when they win, the top government and sports officials stake a claim on their success. The Kenyan sports story. The national amputee football team's debacle exemplifies this blunted disregard. The team endured immense challenges before, during and after the World Cup in Mexico. The national amputee football team's debacle exemplifies this blatant disregard. The team endured immense challenges before, during and after the World Cup in Mexico. When summoned by Parliament recently, the sports ministry showed how removed from the team they were.
Are they wearing those t-shirts, if at all they were actually in your budget for sports?
From the ministry point of view, the team came to us and said that they had all their expenses and requirements covered except for the tickets.
Just last month, two top federations publicly declared they had insufficient funds to take national teams to international competitions. Football Kenya Federation needed about 84 million shillings for the Harambee Stars, Harambee Starlets and the Emerging Stars. The Harambee Stars head coach claimed that he was owed millions ahead of the African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Ethiopia.
More serious on these issues. Remember, some people here like Victor, the allowances that the team wants. Victor cannot be that, he cannot cry too much on that. But how about the local players? They need that money. They need that money because, that's the only way they can get the money. And then, of course, you have to know that sport is money. We don't have to pretend that they are playing for the national team, but they need to be paid.
The Harambee Stars' victory and potential qualification to the continental showpiece was received wholeheartedly. Challenges endured, forgotten. The Kenya Rugby Union had to hold a fundraising ceremony for the national 15th team, which is currently in Europe for a World Cup qualifying tournament. This after KRU stated that it had received barely half of its budget for the various national rugby teams.
On the financial aspects, because we haven't had the best of preparations in terms of the funding that we have and so on. So
the current sports CS Rashid Echesa was brought in on the premise that he would redeem the ministry's image because of his sports background, a former boxer. Apart from his notable absence in briefings and parliamentary summonses, Echesa has been seen to pick up where his predecessor Hassan Wario left. The former CS and former PS Richard Ekai were charged with the loss of millions of shillings during the Rio Olympic Games in 2016. Vincent Oduor, NTV.
Right, well, following all that's been going on in the Ministry of Sports, we asked a section of Kenyans if they believe that the government was doing enough to support sport in the country. Here are some of those responses.
I don't think the sportsmen and women are being treated fairly. Basically, in terms of care after they are done with their parts, in terms of participation.
Sasa nika hapa kuambia serikali yetu tafadhali. Tunavyoona venye Harambee Starlets walikuwa kule Ghana, wana michezo wengine kama wanariadha, soka ya wanaume. Serikali inajitokeza kabisa, lakini wanadada walipokuwa kule Ghana hawakufuatiliwa sana. Wanaachwa huko, wanakaa peke yao, hawatembelewi na mtu yote, ili hali pia wao ni wa Kenya na wanapigania nchi yetu.
If it's a person mwenye ako so much disabled, yeye mwenyewe amejitolea aende aka represent Kenya. It's so painful nikuweke airport or even nikuweke kwa maofisi umelala. Yani mimi nimeacha bedi yangu nyumbani nini nika represent Kenya. But you're not seeing that. It's so painful. If it's government, mimi naweza urge hivi. Government, please, siku zote jiweke katika viatu vya wengine.